Do it live. Epic. Fuck it. We'll do it live. It looks like, I don't want to speak too soon. It looks like it's working pretty good. So. Okay. As I do that, there's a problem. Right? As that happens, there's a problem. Oh, yeah. As soon as I said, hey, thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining us. It is Friday night. It is a little bit after 9 o'clock. We were a couple minutes late. Appreciate your patience. I am Lou Marconi at lmarconi251 on Instagram, at lmarconi1973 on X. This is the Burning River Browns Talk on the Fanatical Elves Network, a subsidiary of the Fans First Sports Network. My special co-host tonight, friend, Steve Hemrich. Hemrich? What do you go by? Hemrich?
I'll go by either.
At Hemi44. You can find him. He's a good dude. So thanks for joining us, man. We got some stuff. We got Brown stuff to talk about, just general Brown stuff. I mean,
sure.
There's things all over the place.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate you having me. Thanks again for letting me
Of course.
join you.
Thanks for coming on. Yeah, Sherry couldn't make it tonight. And so I said, hey, he likes to come on, and we've had him on as a guest. We've had him on as a co-host. We love to have you on.
Appreciate it.
And thank each and every one of you for joining us too. Feel free to comment, like, share, subscribe, join us. Click on the sponsor of the show, Hemisphere Coffee Roasters. It's in the details of the show. We always say this, click on the link and then tell them Lou sent you. Order up some coffee. Tell them Lou sent you. Yeah.
Sherry recovering from her in Florida play last night and won the hockey. Was it last night?
She had something to do with Matt. That's all she said.
I got
you. Gonna make it. So I was like, that's fine. Well, she told me like Tuesday, and I was like, yeah, that's plenty of notice. It wasn't like it was 2 hours before the show.
Right.
So that's fine.
There
So a couple things. Kevin Stefanski did do an interview. I think he was also on the ESPN Cleveland this morning, but the one I caught was the with Anthony Lyman, Ken Carman, and he had a phrase that I thought was fantastic describing the scouting combine in Indianapolis.
What was that? I missed it.
He called it the Underwear Olympics.
The underwear. I've heard that before. That's pretty true, though.
It is very true. It's like, that's all good stuff, but you got to watch the tape. Can they play football? That's really the bottom line of it. Hang on one second.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that was true, but he had a lot of good things to say. He had a lot of really positive things to say about the rookie mini camp, which of course he's going to.
I heard something briefly on the radio. I've been kind of tied up this week, so normally I like to listen to a lot of sports talk radio, and I didn't get much this week, but I did hear something. Sounds like he's pretty high on Kenny Pickett. Did you hear him talking about Pickett?
Yeah, he said he said a lot of. He said this is Kenny Pickett's
fourth year. Yeah, going into his fourth year. I mean, he's 26, I think.
26 or maybe 27 at the most. And you think, oh, God, Dylan Sampson, our fourth round pick's only 20.
Right.
He's
who
young.
Was it? Wasn't Njoku the youngest we had drafted? Because he was only 20 when we drafted him back in, what was that, 18?
Yeah, and Michael 17? Hall was last year too. He was only 20.
Was he 20? Okay.
Yeah,
I remember Njoku being only like a 20-year-old when he got drafted. So wouldn't it be crazy, of all the, lack of a better word, shit we've gone through? I mean, we're the same age. So you remember in the 80s and 90s, especially that late 80s, early 90s, being a Browns fan, what it felt like to feel like we were going to win every game, knowing we had good players and the quarterback.
A good team.
Could you have ever guessed that from 99 to today it would have gone this bad for especially the quarterback situation? I mean, I don't think we could have ever fathomed it would take.
No, I was hoping it wouldn't.
No.
But what I said would happen in 96 and it up till 99, what we got was a death penalty. And it wasn't our fault.
No.
When we were given us expansion franchise and we were told in 10 months you had to field the team. And it's like it was
a joke for everything. I remember the expansion draft that the players that were available were like, it was Jim Pine was the number one pick for that draft, that expansion draft. I'll never forget that for the Detroit Lions.
The guard from the Lions, which was he's a guy.
He was solid, but I mean, you weren't getting, I love how everybody. I guess Kurt Warner was available for that, Remember?
We didn't take him. Yeah. No, we
I
didn't
mean,
take
but Kurt
him.
Warner was at St. Louis and hadn't even sniffed the field. So nobody I don't think anybody and her mother really knew anything about him at that point. I mean, he had done not a thing.
Well, and the next draft was the draft that year was Tom Brady was the 199th pick. Everybody passed on Tom Brady.
Was that 2000, wasn't
2000, yep.
Yeah, because that's when we took Spurgeon Wynn
over him, before him.
Yep. But, getting back to Pickett, what poetic justice, how crazy would it be if Pickett ended up working out after being with the Steelers and, all the animosity we've had to them and the rivalry, to be like, wow, we finally got our franchise quarterback, and he was a Steeler that they let go after 2 years, and he worked out with us somehow.
Yeah, I've talked to Steeler fans that I know through wrestling, and hey, we got Kenny Pickett, and one guy actually said he's a good dude. I mean, he had a bad situation in Pittsburgh. That's what he said. So he'd be ripping on the Steelers as a Steeler fan. So I was like, oh. I said, we'll see if he does. I mean, the thing that Andrew Berry likes to do too, if you ever noticed, he likes to take first-round picks that didn't work out.
Right.
Original teams, and bring them here and give them another chance. Maybe a change in environment will help him. He did that with Maurice Hurst, Shelby Harris, good examples.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, it's hard to fault the logic. I mean, these guys were considered first or second round talents for a reason. Don't work out there, come here. What do you lose with something like that?
Yeah, we traded a 5th round pick for Kenny Pickett.
Yeah. And DTR, which, no offense, I mean, DTR seemed like a good kid, but I was done.
He wasn't working out. Yeah, he wasn't working out.
No.
He wasn't. And Joe Flacco is a veteran free agent. He's a guy that can mentor these dudes. He's good. He's there to help. He might start the beginning of the season, but I wouldn't be surprised September 7th against the Bengals, our starting quarterback's Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised.
He changed his tune a little bit, Flacco, because you remember when he was here before, and I can't remember if it was while he was still here or once he left, he basically had come out and said he really had no desire to be a mentor. He's here to be the quarterback of the team and, nothing else. But then this time around, when they talked to him, he kind of changed. It was like, anything I could do to help. Maybe he realizes, hey, this is my last year or two.
Yeah. And as a Browns fan, I hope Kenny Pickett works out. I hope we have works out. I hope we have those first. It might be Jacksonville could be in the top 10.
Yeah.
That pick we get from Jacksonville could be in the top 10, and our pick could be in the top 15. So if we want to move up with those 2 picks, we could theoretically, if we want to get a quarterback, we could.
Obviously, and especially, you're a season ticket holder too. I want to see him win games first and foremost. That being said, my biggest goal this year, I could care less about the season. If we walk out of here knowing for sure we either have a franchise quarterback on this roster between one of those 3 guys or we don't, that's my main objective. Because if we don't, like you were just saying, we got 2 first-round picks. We better be doing something than to go and get that quarterback. But if one of them hit, you got 2 first-round picks. I mean, we already know tackle's probably a need at some point, depending on what happens with DeJuan Jones. But
DeJuan Jones was on the field for OTAs.
Yeah, and his biggest thing so far seems like just staying healthy, right?
Yeah, just staying. And I said his weight was good too. Yeah, just stay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just for him is staying healthy. As a 4th round pick, and there's the guy they got from the Bears that was a guard.
Oh, yep.
But he came here. I think he's going to try to play left tackle.
You were saying, I remember you saying that before.
And I think DeJuan Jones is going to be groomed to take right tackle after Conklin leaves this year. So
Makes sense. That's more natural for him, wasn't right tackle?
Yeah. I think it was. But he actually did. He did a serviceable job. He did a pretty good job at left tackle. He did way better than Jed Wills. And Jed Wills just he showed up. He was playing like he didn't want to be here last year.
Has he signed it still? I don't think I've heard of him signing anywhere.
I think he's done. I don't think anybody wants him. Would you?
You know what? I did see something about a week ago because he was at Alabama. I think, or maybe it was this past week. Something about Alabama, Miami, and Tua and him have that relationship. They played together, and I don't know if he was going in for maybe an interview or something, possibly talking with Miami because of Tua and their friendship. But
yeah,
I mean,
we could play a mild version of the schedule game before the show's over with because we do play Miami. I think. Do we? We have, I think we go to New England and I think we go to Miami and do we have the Jets here?
Yeah.
Yes. We have the Jets and the Bills here. Yeah. Because Miami, I think is one of those types of teams. You don't know how good or bad they're going to be.
Right.
Like the Vikings, you don't know how good or bad they're going to be. We know the Jets are going to suck.
Yeah.
The Jets are the Jets.
Was it Fields that signed with the Jets?
Yep.
Okay.
And Russell Wilson went to the Giants.
with Jameis, and
with
then of
Jameis
course
Winston.
they drafted Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
So
good for them.
Right.
Well, I like what the one reporter that was on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show was talking about, and Jari Epstein, which is a reporter for Yahoo Sports, and she was explaining, she's like, look, I wasn't trying to be a Browns defender, but the moves the Browns were making were solid, good moves. They seemed like they were stable in their positions, versus the Giants were making moves because they knew they had to start winning now.
Yeah,
it was two differences, and I think Barry and Stefanski are more secure than people realize, but with a caveat: 3 wins this year is not going to cut it.
Yeah,
they need to do better.
I mean, I'll be honest. I'm sure we'll talk about it later. I mean, and it's so easy because when you see a schedule, you think of what everybody did last season. As we know, every year stuff changes. But I mean, I'll be honest. When I saw that schedule, the first 5 or 6 games looked brutal.
You can do that every year.
Yeah,
you do that every year. You have no idea what you have.
Well, look at last year. I remember seeing Washington early. What was that, like week 3? I'm like, oh, that's a win.
And Washington went to the NFC Championship. So
right?
I mean, so you really don't know. So that's why I said, look, can we do this? Let's start here at a baseline. Can we split our division?
Logically, yeah.
The only one
I could see 2 for sure. The tough one's always going to be Baltimore. I think Baltimore right now is just
Baltimore's good. They didn't really make many moves, but they're probably going to be the team to beat in the division.
Yeah.
I think Cincinnati has some issues with Trey Hendrickson and their slow starters. We play them first.
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh has a big question mark at quarterback, and the guys are getting older on defense. Let's just say that they are. So you got that. Then you got Cincinnati. I think we could win 3. I think we could win 3 games. All right, then let's look at the games against the division, against a division outside the division. Excuse me. You got the NFC North. We go to Detroit.
Yep.
I think, and we go.
I
to
just
Chicago.
pulled it up. Yeah. So
we go to Chicago. So but we got Minnesota and London.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Minnesota's going to be interesting. I mean,
they're like Miami. They're like Miami. You don't know how good or bad they're going.
They got a good team, and it was with Sam Darnold last year, who for at least through 15 weeks of the 16 weeks of the season played out of his mind. But JJ McCarthy's going to be a starter, and he hasn't done squat in the NFL. So
he's going to be basically a rookie,
right? So I mean, we don't know, and that's early in the year. So I'm looking. I pulled it up now.
It's week 5. Week 5.
Yep. So I mean, it's still pretty early. You got
then we go to Pittsburgh on week 6, which is kind of like, go from London to Pittsburgh. Get that. So
is it Minnesota that plays? I thought, did I hear that they're there literally 2 straight weeks?
Yep, the week they're playing the Steelers in Ireland the week before.
Wow. Okay. Wow. And we were wrong. Dolphins are actually at our place again this time. Last year, wasn't it in December they came?
They came and it was a warm day. It was a warm. Yeah. It was like my wife was with me. It was like it was like 55 degrees. It felt weird.
I missed that one. I can't remember if it was for some reason that was one of the games I missed last year. But this year they're hurt earlier. October 19th. Because
DTR was like so horrible. It was a horrible game. But back to it. Okay, so Miami and the Jets are here. We go to New England and. No. The Miami and the Jets. And do we go to Buffalo?
Buffalo is here.
We go to New England. We go to Buffalo. Oh no. Okay, Buffalo and Miami are. So we go to the Jets and we go to. New England. Okay.
And the Packers are here.
Okay, I think the Jets suck. I think we can beat the Jets. Okay.
Do you really?
I think the Bears suck. I think we can. I'm not saying we will,
right?
But we can. Okay.
I think that's the Bears and I think they're going to be the hot pick this year of teams to watch for. Yeah. So many people love their draft, with the quarterback Williams in his second year. But I'm with you. We'll see. They got the new coach.
We'll see.
Where's he from? Was it Detroit or was it?
I think it was. It was Detroit's offensive coordinator. So
okay.
We'll see. We'll see. But they haven't done it yet. So you don't know. Right. You don't know. Plus, you don't know about Minnesota.
Yeah.
And Detroit is going to be good. And Green Bay here is
that's the third game. I mean, we start off 2 division games at home against the Bengals, which that kind of surprised me. I think you talked about it.
And we go to Baltimore. Yeah.
Yeah. We open up again at home because remember what was it? Something like the first 15 years we came back. There was only like 1 or 2 times we opened at home. We'd always been on the road or something crazy like that.
Yeah, this is the 3rd year in a row we opened at home.
It's like switch. All of a sudden, it's like we're always starting.
I was expecting a road game to start.
So was I. But the Packers are the third. You're right. Ravens week 2 is at Baltimore, then Green Bay's at here, and then it's at Detroit, and then over to London. Are you? I don't know if you guys are you planning on going to that London game or no?
No. Yeah. My passport expired. I mean, I couldn't even go if I wanted to.
I saw our buddy Brown Spider, and
he's going. Yeah,
First Lady. He already posted something. They got everything.
Well, great, man. Knock yourself. I'm going to get up early in the morning. I'm going to get some breakfast sandwiches from McDonald's and watch the game. That's what I'm going to do.
I think I'm going to do some Bloody Marys.
Yes, but let's just put it. Let's just take a step back here, because then we got. Do you see it possible that we win 2 of the AFC East and 2 of the NFC North games? Could we do that?
Oh, for sure. I mean,
okay. So you say that's 4
plus the
3 divisional ones. That's 7 wins. Is it possible? I'm just saying, is it possible? I'm not saying we will. I'm not saying we will. We won't.
I feel like I'm in court. Is it possible that?
Well, it could happen. I think this: if we don't turn the ball over, and if we run the ball like we're supposed to, we could win some games. Now now we got 3 other ones to talk about. I think we got Tennessee at home.
Yep. December 7th.
That we don't know how good Tennessee is going to be with Cam Ward. We don't.
No.
If I'm not mistaken, too, we have we have San Francisco at home.
Yep, that's the week before. Then we go to Tennessee. So that's a crazy little stretch there, because we go out to play the Raiders in Vegas November 23rd.
And we go out and play the Raiders. So we got Yep. So those 3 games, could we win 2 out of those 3? Could we?
Could we? Sure.
Like I said, that's 9 wins.
Yeah.
That's just take it. Now, a lot can happen, a lot can change. I'm not going to sit there and stripe saying this is a win when it's May and we're talking 6 months away. I'm not going to say that, but I'm just saying, just looking at things on paper, because I guarantee you, a lot of people seeing the Browns on their schedule, that's a win.
Oh, right away. you know, teams like the Titan fans or the Bear fans, they're already like, oh, Cleveland win. Patriot fans, because you were talking about the same thing at one point. I remember. Or maybe I heard on the radio or something, what games potentially even Cleveland would even be the favorite. I think I had heard only possibly maybe about 3 games potentially. It was maybe the Jets, Patriots, and the Titans, I think, were the 3 that we could be. And then I think it was on the radio, and I remember that, every other game I think will probably not be favored to win, whether it's home or away.
Did Aaron Rodgers ever sign with the Steelers yet?
No, he still has it. And was there something that just came out the other day? Something about he's been dealing with a lot of family members with cancer. I thought I saw something.
That's horrible.
I briefly saw something.
Well,
like I said, I've been kind of off social media.
He's 2 years older than Flacco.
Right. No, not him. I think family members. I think he's.
I know. He's 2 years older than Flacco too.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like. Guys, I mean, I'm just saying I like the fact that we have 3 young quarterbacks in that room that we could try to figure something out with low cost.
Right.
Either we know that we for sure got somebody, or we know we for sure don't.
Right.
Those are the 2 things we need to know. Just in between, maybe, kind of, sort of. No, we got to get a guy. That's just it. I like the fact that I think there's going to be a better emphasis on the run game. We already upgraded that.
Yeah, immensely. For sure. You got 2, and I mean Ford. It's not a bad back. I wasn't comfortable.
He's not a feature back though.
No, that's what I was just gonna say. I wasn't comfortable if that was the thinking. Like, oh, that's our main back to start the season. But in a rotation, he's shown he can help. But with the 2 guys we drafted, I think the run game's going to be way better. And that's huge for us right there. We're
able to run the ball, get ahead of the sticks.
Hopefully the line was pretty disappointing last year. I think that, especially early on
when the injuries were piled up. But the best that line looked was when the healthiest we got, which was when DeJuan Jones played left tackle against Baltimore. Even though Baltimore wasn't known for their best pass rush like that, but they looked serviceable. And actually, they looked I want to say, was it against the Steelers too? They didn't look bad. The 2 out of 3 wins. Yeah. And think about this with Jacksonville. Somebody pointed this out. Jacksonville, all right, was the only team to lose to Deshaun Watson last year.
Wow. Was it really?
Yeah, that was the second. We were 1-1 after 2 games in the season. It was an ugly win too.
Right.
I remember people were bitching about the play call, but if the guy would have made the block, it would have went for a touchdown because Watson, the guy was open.
Oh,
Watson.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it would have been a blowout. Yeah. Wow. And think about the Eagles. What, they beat us by what, 4 points?
That was a close game. Remember, it was because I remember I wanted to go to that game, but then I'm like, you know what, Philly fan.
It was in Philly. Yeah, it was in Philly. Yeah.
I'm like, I've been dying to go to a road game. That's baseball I've done, even basketball I saw a game. I've never been to an away game for football. And being on X, I know a lot of our X friends on here have gone, and I keep saying every year I'm going.
The road trip to Detroit doesn't sound like a bad idea.
No, that's but that's what I thought about Philly. I'm like, it's only a few hours away, but then I was like, you know what? I wouldn't wear any of I'm a decent sized guy. I can handle myself, but I remember saying, I'm like,
come with me.
I wouldn't wear my Browns gear there because they're to Philly. I would have, they're just, God forbid we were a win.
You could wear somebody else's gear, just be respectful, I think is fine when you're in their place. That's what some people got to learn how to do. Most people, they think they're on the internet when they're face to face with you, and you're like, really?
I have no problem with some of the fans. Obviously we said, well, you're on the same side as me. We're technically on the visitor side, and so we get our share of the opposing fans. A lot of them are pretty cool people. You get those. You get a few of them that run their mouth, or the one that wants to stand up and run down the stairs holding their team flag. And I'm like, dude, you're asking for it. You're going to get pelted. And it's your own. You don't run down the stairs, turn around, face the stand, and stretch your flag out and be like, yeah, So,
yeah.
I remember.
Go ahead. No. There's a guy, some broccoli-haired Gen Z, skinny dipshit, tried to say something at the last year's Steelers game, and I stood up and said, "What the F did you just say?" Oh, and his eyes got like real big when he saw me. He's like, "Come on, say it to me. Say it to me right now. Say it to me right now. This isn't the internet, son. This is the real world. Go ahead." And everybody was just like, "Whoa!" Like, wow. It takes a lot to set me off, but what he said was so blatantly disrespectful and wrong. It's like, son, I will whoop your ass in front of everybody. Get on up here. And there's like that reminds me of that show too. There's like that show that Cherry was talking about. I heard it was a Nick DiPaolo show was talking about it too, where they're like stadium security and they're looking at all these monitors.
Oh, is it reality? Stadium lockup?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
I saw the first episode. I haven't seen the rest.
They kind of joked about it too, saying, "Well, they said like if the game's close, there's not that many fights, but if it's a blowout, there's fights. There's a blowout, there's fights." And people were joking, "Well, the Browns fans have to entertain themselves somehow." That's what they kind of said. And I said, the thing is, the national people outside of Cleveland, they're going to shit on us. It's going to happen until we start winning and winning consistently. They're going to shit. Okay, it's going to be there.
That's like that one guy. I don't know if we talked about it before. I don't know the show. I'm pretty sure it was on ESPN, and I don't know this guy's name. He's with another lady, and they were talking about the Browns. And I remember him going off about, well, Cleveland couldn't support it. That's why they left the first time. It's like, what?
It was an ESPN show. That's not at all what happened.
Yeah, it's like that didn't happen at all. The support was there. We sold out all the time. It was that you had an owner that had no money and didn't know.
He had no money because he was paying for the stadium that he was at, and the city wasn't compensating him or giving him a new stadium like they promised they would. The city is just as culpable as Art Modell. Now, what Art Modell should have done, people don't remember in 1989 when the Syntax was up for a vote for the Gateway Project. Mm-hmm. Major League Baseball commissioner came to the city of Cleveland and said, build them a new ballpark or else the team's relocating. He said that. And it passed by a 51-49 margin. It was like a 1%. It was not that close. I mean, it wasn't that big of a pass. I mean, I'm saying it was really close. That's what I meant to say. It was close.
Right.
And a couple thousand votes could have changed sports history in Cleveland.
Yeah.
So that happened. And they had the Gateway Project, so the Cavs and the Indians got new buildings. Art Modell was left with nothing. And Art Modell was like, hey, what about me? What about me? Now, he could have said, you do this for me or else I'm leaving too. But he never said that.
Yeah.
He just left.
Wasn't his thing – I mean, Modell's biggest fault was, unlike the owners of today and most of them back then, he had no business. hasn't had
the Browns were his business. The Browns were his business.
He had no big business that, hey, this was, I don't want to say his little play thing, but he had no other income. So when they left, I thought the way it was before at the old stadium, that with the Indians and stuff, that Modell got didn't he get like all the concessions or a lot of it? So when they took that away,
they were paying as tenants. The Indians were tenants in the building.
Right. And when they said, well, they're moving over here, and I thought he wanted something with when they moved that he still gets something. The city wasn't willing to do it, or maybe I've got it wrong. I mean, it's
something there was things talked about. There was all kinds of different plans and stuff. And city of Cleveland just sat on their hands.
Yeah.
They didn't do it. And go ahead.
No, it just, like you were saying, it just pisses me off when I hear people not from around here. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. The fans didn't support them before and they left. It's like, dude, we were one of the most loyal fan base. We sold out all the time. I mean,
we fought to keep the team to win.
I think everybody from here was blindsided when they said they were moving. You're like, no, we're not moving. I mean,
nobody believed it. Nobody believed it.
No, so that fires me up when I hear stuff like that, and they think,
what fires me up is when we shit on ourselves.
Yeah.
When I hear them shit on ourselves, I'm like, no, we don't do that. I said, don't do that. Don't give them more ammunition. And they think they're funny. They think they're funny. They think they're trying to be funny. I said, no, I went off on a couple of people on podcasts. I'm like, dude, oh God, yeah. I'm like, what? Why are you doing this? The national media does it. You're not, it's like, and I'm the most positive person you probably know, but I'll tell the truth. I'm like, guys, okay, 8 world championships, 18 Hall of Famers, the only fan base to fight to keep a team and win. Mm-hmm. Not many fan bases can say it. The only 2 teams in the NFL history that have more championships than the Browns are the Packers and the Bears. And they've been around a lot longer than us. Mm-hmm. So, and I was trying to just explain it to people. I said, guys, don't think this way. And I truly believe with this new stadium, it might be wishful thinking on my part. Look at what in 1989, when they voted for that stadium with the Indians, I heard the same arguments. The Indians suck. They ain't doing shit. Mm-hmm. Major League came out that year with Charlie Sheen.
Yep.
People laughed at it. I laughed at it too, because I never knew I was 16 years old. My whole life, the Indians sucked at that time.
Oh God, I ain't gonna lie. When I first saw that movie, I cried. I was like, "Oh, that could be us one day,"
But the end. I hear the whole theater was cheering. We were going crazy. All the people were going nuts. Yeah, I was right there with you. Yeah, we're like, is this gonna really happen? Yeah, okay, yeah, sometime in my lifetime. But 6 years later, 1995. The most magical season the Indians ever had. That was in the new ballpark.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember with that Major League. For some reason, I almost want to say it was the second one.
When they won the pennant?
Well, no, they did a big premiere, and it was down at Playhouse Square. They had, and me and my best friend, we went to it. And they had the actors there and whatnot. And I remember being in that theater just getting chills. We were watching the movie. They did like a big premiere thing, and I forget how we got tickets or how we even went, but I just remember watching it. And this was before we had one. This is before the whole 95 and all that. And I just remember going, oh my gosh, because, I'm old like you. Since I was a kid, I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and Indians were always terrible.
So
that you're less like, oh my gosh,
And people are like, why are we building a new ballpark for a team that sucks? What's going on? Well, let them move, blah blah blah. There are people that are saying, only rich people are going to be able to go. It's going to cost too much. The same shit I'm hearing now.
Yeah, although I ain't gonna lie, I'm with the people now because I'm old. I guess the way stuff costs anymore. I mean,
that's just Well, if they stuck with the plan, If they stuck with the plan and remodeled the stadium downtown, would it be cheaper?
No.
Or the cost will still go up. And guess who's going to pay for that? Taxpayers.
Well, and you know way more. You're the expert and the authority on the whole stadium.
Thank you. I'll take. You said that, I didn't.
I listened to you, and actually, Daryl Ryder's.
Daryl Ryder's really good too.
Yeah. I don't know much. Like most fans.
I reference his stuff a lot. Yeah.
Do you? You go online and read one thing, you're like, oh, then you go over here and you see this, and you're like, what do I don't know what to believe. They're saying this saying this.
Somebody tried to accuse Daryl on Twitter that he's taking payoffs from Haslam. It's like, that's slanderous. You can't do that. And he's right. Daryl was 100% right on that.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with Daryl on everything, but on this I do.
Yeah. So. No, it's no, I did see that. And like I think I was telling you before we came on. So I saw him post something earlier that whatever this council guy or city guy that Corian or whatever his name is,
Yeah, the Cuyahoga County executive.
Yeah,
Dorian, yes.
He's going on Daryl's show on this Sunday, so
I'm going to listen to it.
I'm going to try and see if I can see if I can catch that.
It should be on the Odyssey app, shouldn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yep, 92.3 is the Odyssey.
Yeah. Good. So that'd be good. Well, let's kind of go back to it. Daryl reported this, and a lot of people don't understand this, and I really want to put it in perspective. But going back to 2015, the Haslams were researching what to do with this current stadium. And there was a plan in place to remodel and renovate the stadium and it was a major overhaul plan because a lot has to be done. And there's also a walkway and there's redoing the lakefront. And they were going to work with the city of Cleveland on it. And it was Mayor Frank Jackson. Come 2021, Mayor Justin Bibb takes office. And this is according to Daryl. And I this has to be true. Justin Bibb was just like Mayor Bibb wasn't interested in the plan. He just wanted to do something else. He just, we're not going to do that. We'll do our own thing. And it just kind of, that's what I heard. So the Browns were like, all right. So then they started researching where else to go. And there's different locations they looked at. One of them, I think Jason Lloyd brought this up from The Athletic, and he's also on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, that they were looking at the area of Independence by the Topgolf.
Really?
480 and 77 meet. Yeah, they were looking at that area too for the dome, which I thought, that'd be pretty cool because, centrally located, the highways are there. But they picked that area in front of the airport because it's a great spot with considering all the public transportation that'll go there. And it pretty much, I love what the Browns told the county where they're like, gave them the finger, said, go ahead, we're going to do it anyway, with or without you. So in other words, go ahead.
It was interesting because didn't Haslam come out and say just a week or two ago before that one vote before the council passed whatever about, if whatever doesn't go through this stage, then they'll talk about renovating. Remember? Was it?
Oh no! What he was saying that was a while ago. If the state doesn't come through with the $600 million bond, they will talk about renovating. But it went through the House. Now there's a different version in the Senate. They're all negotiating right now. It's going to be in the Ohio State budget.
Okay.
And that budget's due June 30th. So we will know for sure in about a month.
Right. Because 30th. Although it sounds crazy, they have to, I would think by end of this year, beginning of next year, they need to break ground and start moving. If they're going to do it right this time and build, they can't wait.
The plan is the shovels in the ground first quarter 2026, and the stadium will be ready August of 2029.
Right. Yeah. So
that's the stadium part. I'm sure other things are going to be built and developed around it. Might take a little bit more time.
I would expect.
But they said the stadium will be, and people I've talked to in the know, we're talking about like the Brook Park's out there doing surveys for the traffics and stuff, and they're going to be the infrastructure that's going to be needed around it. They're doing it right. Doing it right. So it's already cleared out, which is a good part of it. It's already cleared.
Let's hope so, because it blows me away. Well, we grew up, we had Old Municipal Stadium. Now, granted, it was way past its prime. I mean, that thing was around for 70, 80 years.
It was 1932.
Okay. So, and you hear the Browns Stadium, it's like 30 years old. You're like, how could this be falling apart? It's 30 years old. I mean,
it was built in a rush. Yeah.
Look at Progressive Field. How beautiful that place still looks to this day.
Well maintained, it was well built. It's
5 years, 5 years younger or older, I'm sorry. And they keep renovating, doing stuff, changing, and it seems like every few years there's something, and that place is as beautiful today as it was when it opened back in 90, was it 4?
Yeah. 94.
You watching the game?
Nope.
How is this? We struggled. The Guardians struggled there for a while. Lost 5 or 6 straight, and now they're playing Detroit, who, oh, by the way, has the best record in baseball. Beat them yesterday. It's bottom of the 9th. The Guardians are up 3-1, 2 outs, and nobody on. And strike 2. Clase is dealing tonight. 99 miles.
99 mile an hour fastballs are hard to hit.
God, I love seeing this guy. I remember back, when they were the Indians, when we had like Bob Wickman, closer, who threw like about 80 something miles an hour. I'm like, why can't we have that fireball guy that throws it in upper 90s?
Doug 100? Jones was not a fireballer either.
No, he was even, I think, slower than Wickman.
He looked like he was going to throw up when he was in the stretch. Like, I'm gonna puke.
Look like a guy you see at the corner bar. Let's see if pop up. Is it gonna?
Could be fair, could be foul, and it is.
Ball game.
Ball game, 3-1.
Nolan Jones. Yep, right field line. I think that may have still been.
No, I'm just scrolling through X to see if what other comments or stuff we got going on here. No, what back to the stadium thing. The I-Team did a report this week and had an interview with Mayor Bibb, and he pretty much acquiesced. The Browns are going to Brook Park.
Who is that again?
Mayor Justin Bibb. He acquiesced. He said,
"Really?"
He said, "If they go to Brook Park, God bless them.
Okay,
we got more important things to do in Cleveland than worry about the Browns."
Wow,
that's pretty much what he said. So that kind of just sealed it. And the Greater Cleveland Project endorsed the stadium, and the Cleveland.com Plain Dealer editorial board endorsed the new stadium.
Well, what was that? Who was it? The group that you said endorsed it. The who?
The Greater Cleveland Project.
Yeah, and then didn't something with the city? They just fired him from something or something.
They just like backed off or doing something. I forgot what it was.
They
were grandstand. It's political grandstanding.
Okay,
we're doing. Yeah, they were just. That's all it is.
Yep.
It's just it's politicians politicking, and Chris Ronan was like, "Oh, no taxpayer money for a new stadium." Then he quietly asked for $350 million to renovate the stadium. It's like, well, where's that coming from? The Tooth Fairy? I mean, seriously. So,
and they're going to talk about this renovation, but for how long? And then what happens when you're like, well, we're going to have to build a new stadium in
10 to 15 years, and it's not going to. This stadium, if it's built right and well maintained, it'll last 50 years.
It should. You would hope. I mean,
look. How old is the Superdome in New Orleans? They just hosted the last Super Bowl. It's like 50 years old, almost. Yeah. It's getting close there. I mean, it's well maintained. Considering it went through a hurricane,
right?
Yeah, I mean, Katrina. I remember that. That was like, God, that was almost 20 years ago. Can you believe that shit? I'm old. We're getting old, Steve.
I remember we went on a cruise with my wife and another couple, and this wasn't the Katrina year. I think it was the year before or after. And we went out in New Orleans, and I remember the cruise, the group that was out before us, the week before, they had been rushing back trying to beat a hurricane, and I heard the stories about how all these people, though, for the last couple of days were nothing but throwing up like crazy on the ship because the waters are so rough from the hurricane that was out there, and they were trying to get back to. Luckily, we missed it, and it didn't affect us. But that thing is. I think you're right. Isn't it close to 50 years?
Mm-hmm. Yep, the Superdome in New Orleans. I mean, if it's built right, well, I think when the commissioner came to Columbus and talked to Ohio State lawmakers, first thing they asked, they said, "Will we get a Super Bowl?" And he couldn't guarantee it, but he said the building would meet the standards for a Super Bowl. But he also said you need the hotels.
Right.
He said you need the hotel accommodations to do it, and that's the plan, is to build around that. So
I did hear, and I don't know if you had heard, we had the NFL draft here was at 21, right? It was the year after COVID, when things were just starting to open up a little bit.
Yep.
So
that's the year we drafted JOK. We drafted JOK in the second round, and we drafted Greg Newsome in the first.
Well, I have heard that there's a good chance sooner rather than later that Cleveland was going to get that again, kind of like as a makeup. Because, you didn't get the full experience of like what they're able to do now again, and even prior.
I haven't heard that exactly. What another thing I did hear is that we could be credentialed to be in Indianapolis next February for the Underwear Olympics. Through Fans First, us Fanatical Elves.
I'm
credentialed to be at the combine.
I am somehow going to wheeze my way into being a Fanatical Elves employee.
I don't know. They called me, man. I didn't call them. They called me.
That's awesome. If you guys can pull that off and get that.
Well, they were talking about, because I was asking about other stuff with the team. They said, well, you got to have that relationship with the team. I'm like, oh, fuck.
Oh, you do? I always wondered how somebody can get credentialed for, obviously the big, TV network, they're going to get theirs. But like people like you guys, your group and all that, how do they go?
Thanks, Brian. Superdome age is 54.
54. Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
and that was when I wanted to go last year as well. I looked at a couple.
That would have been a good. I've been to New Orleans on other times. Yeah, it's a nice place, man.
We went once, and we literally came the morning of it was the day before we were going on a cruise. We got in there like the morning and spent like one afternoon
I wouldn't mind checking out Las Vegas' stadium.
Yeah, that looks pretty cool. There.
Yeah,
and that was the other one. Once we ruled out Philly, it was Vegas and New Orleans were the two I was looking to possibly do last year. But Vegas, right off the bat, I heard how the ticket prices were insane. And I don't know if it's so much about the Browns, but just the new stadium and stuff. I mean, I heard
that. I think that's the biggest fear the fans have about the new stadium too, is the ticket prices going up, and I think just losing out on the tailgating experience, which those are reasonable. That's reasonable. Yeah. I could understand that. And I said, hey, it's you don't know what the cost will be. You really don't. And I said, I'm the reason why I'm still for that is the fact that it needs to be done.
Yeah.
That lakefront, that whole thing, just get a bulldozer, push it in the goddamn lake, be done with it, start playing at Brook Park.
Yeah.
If there's a market for people to come to that stadium and pay to go see tickets, because where we sit, we're cheap fucks. We're up in the 500s. So I budget my money. Okay.
Well, even now it's expensive. I have a friend that was down in the lower level as well. He moved up. It was actually only $100 more for the whole year, not per game, for him to move up to the club level. And he was down, where the Browns go back in and out of their tunnel there?
Yeah.
He was, so if you're on the field running back to that tunnel, he was just to the right of that, like a section or two. I sat with him a couple times last year, and I forget what he's paying now, what he was paying, but he's like, it cost me an extra $10 a game to move to the club. And those have always been, the club level, it's always been more expensive. I mean, but my buddy and I, we got our tickets in 2007, and I think we were paying $50 at the time per ticket, and $500 a year with that $4 charge that we get. And I think now we're up to $1,300 per ticket for the season. So it went from basically about 50 to about 130 a game. So that's
I'm not sure where you're at. Where
I'm in 511. So I'm where you guys are, same side as you, but I'm at about the 20-yard line closest to the dog pound. We're right about I'd say around 20.
What are you in the 500s?
Yeah, we're 511. And you're what, 503 or something?
Yeah, 503. I'm on the other side.
Yeah, so
I'm on the visitor side. Yeah, okay.
That's where I am. I'm on the visitor
side, and I'm closer to the end zone, more like the 10-yard line.
Yeah,
I'm in 503, and I'm row 27. I'm like 5 rows from the top.
I'm covered. Row
it doesn't cost us that much. I want to say it's like $70 a game.
Yeah,
75 a ticket.
That's not bad.
Well, let me think. It cost me. I split 2 tickets. I'm trying to think. How much did I spend? Let me just take a wild guess here. Hang on. Let me just take a wild guess. I'm gonna look on my app while we do this.
Okay. Yeah, I think it always cracks me up because I think my fee is now $1,350, but there's I think a $4 charge for the season, like BS charge. I'm like, wow, you got that $4, huh?
Let me see. Let me just see, man.
Well, and the other thing that worries me, like you said, you're talking 4 more years from now, everything's going to go up in price. What worries me is the PSL. Are we going to get jammed with, hey, sorry, you've been a season ticket all this time? Because I had to buy a PSL. I bought it off somebody online, so we paid half the price. My PSL originally was $1,100 or $1,125, and I paid half that. But, of course, now they did away with it. PSLs aren't required anymore. But they go to that new stadium. If they make us all have to do PSLs again and pay thousands of dollars, that
would piss a lot of people off. Then I'd be like, because I think what Harvey and I talked about was like, we'll do at least one season into that. So
that's what we're hoping, me and my buddy. Yeah, I'd like to have season tickets for one year, and then after that, if we're a good team.
And if it's worth it, if you got to look, you got to kind of value. It's like just to go once. And at that time, I don't know what Harvey's going to do. I mean, that'd be 5 years from now. You're talking 2030.
Right.
By that time, my oldest will be 15. My youngest will be 13. I could start taking them to a game if I wanted to. I'm not going to do it now because they're a little bit too young for that environment. They're 10 and 8. I just don't feel comfortable taking my kids that young. I've seen people with babies at their, like, are you nuts? I'm like, no. When they were babies, I didn't take them any. I felt because they started crying in a movie theater. I'm like, what? No, you don't bring a baby to a movie theater. You just don't do that. I don't know if you have kids.
I have one son. Yeah, one son.
Okay, so you remember. Yeah.
Yep.
So you just don't do that. Yeah, I'm trying to see. Well, I can't see the ticket prices. Let me see. Let me just see here. Hang on. I'm trying to see because I'm trying to remember what I paid with. Well,
now it's so confusing because they did what the Indians did years ago. They, it used to be when you look at your tickets for the season tickets, it was a flat whatever, $100 a game, so you're spending $1,000. Now they do that sliding scale because I've transferred some tickets a couple times, and I'll be like, oh, this Ravens game was $160. But then this game was like 110. So I don't know how they prioritize what game's more expensive, but the Browns now do that with their tickets. I noticed on my season ticket when I've transferred, you can see the price.
All right. I'm seeing like 515, 540. I'm doing like $135 for like row 32, 520, section 503, row 32.
How much?
$135 tickets.
A game?
For one game, yeah.
So, dude, that's $1,350 if you do 10 games. Well, 8 games, whatever, at the preseason. And that's your section?
That's my section, but that's just me looking to buy tickets online. So I don't know how
that secondary market though, or whatever.
I think so. So.
That might be. That might be.
I think so. That's just no. That I wouldn't. I remember just paying like $95 a ticket or something like that, or $80 a ticket for the Cavs.
Right.
For my 4 of us, my family. We've been to 2 games as a family. We saw them play Orlando last year and saw them play Miami the year before. And they're all cool. They're happy they got to ride the Rapid downtown. so
the Cavs do. I mean, the Browns, they piss me off in so many ways. I think the season ticket gifts generally are a joke. Although I am wearing my season ticket, that was last year's gift. We got to pick the hat, what color you wanted.
Hang on.
I did orange. I'm like, I got a bunch of brown and charcoal. Yep, I got the same thing.
I asked my dad if he wanted it, and my daughter's like, no, I'll take it. So she keeps it. She wears it once in a while.
Nice.
Like, yeah. Whoa.
But I mean,
did you hear that?
What was that?
That was something upstairs. But
okay.
I don't know what my wife's with them. I'm like, I didn't hear any crying, so I'm good. So I'm just like, I heard crying. I'm like, okay.
The Guardians and the Cavs, for your bang for your buck, both of those organizations put on, when you go to a game, especially if it's with kids, they do great. With the giveaways, with the in-game entertainment, the Browns by and large are pretty blah.
Yeah, it's 10 games. I think, like I said, what's going to be the experience when I go there? I'd like to go there for one more season. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think. I'd have to look because I know we did 4 there's 4 payments. We did the 4 payments.
That's what I did.
And
that's what ticked me off with the Journey. I had one more payment to go, and I remember when they did that about getting your ticket. I went on and we were on vacation. So I gave it to my buddy that we do tickets with. I'm like, well, here, you want my ticket so you can go. And I went on to the account to do it. And they're like, wait, you have to renew. I'm like, what? I'm like, you've been taking my payment for 3 months.
Yeah. You should have renewed by then. Yeah.
I still had to go and formally do something. I'm like, this is stupid. We got it taken care of a few minutes later, but I was just like, what do you mean? You've been taking payments 3 out of these. I have one more payment to go. You didn't think I was renewing? Why are you taking my money then? So it worked out, but
let me just look at something here because I'm actually going to go. Let me see if I can find something. Hang on. I'm just see. Never mind. I'll have to talk to Harvey about it because I know I was saying I made like 2 payments of like. It's like something like $90 to $95 a game or something like that. It went up. It went up. The last 2 years they went up. That's what I'm thinking. That's where I'm kind of around where I'm at.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. And if I do that, I spend maybe when I go to a game, 120 to 140. Because I'll get something to eat at Tower City. I might get a snack at the stadium. I take the Rapid.
What's the Rapid? Was it $5-10 to take a Rapid?
$5. It's a $5 all day pass to take the Rapid.
Okay. Oh wow. I mean,
yeah,
you guys are lucky, you and Sherry, because you're in a decent spot. What, Green Road or somewhere out that way?
Yeah, Shaker Heights. Yeah, Green. Yeah,
I'm on the east side.
Green and Shaker.
Okay, I'm in Lake County, and I'm along the lake here, but I'm in Lake County. I don't have a good spot to go to what I would deem a safe area on the east side. I would have to drive over to South Euclid or somewhere over there, to do it. My buddy's on the west side in Lakewood. That one's great. That's the one that runs from the airport into downtown. And
in Lakewood, does he go to the west 117th?
I think, or does he do Madison and 117th or something?
Or Puritas.
There's a Puritas. He was.
I went because one time we dropped the girls off at my parents because it was it was a Miami game. My parents watched our daughters, and then we went to the game and came back. But my parents live in Brooklyn.
Okay,
I grew up in Brooklyn. They're still in the house. They still live in the house I grew up in.
Okay.
So we went to. I was going to go to the West 117th because it was a lot closer. My dad's like, no, go to the Puritas one. It's a better neighborhood. I'm like, that's what he told me. That's what he told me. I was like, are you sure?
Somebody did get shot just recently, right off West 117th and is that 480?
Yeah. The last thing I wanted to talk about. I saw a video today, and it was interesting. And he was saying this. It might be premature of him to say this. There was a podcaster that I respect, and I have a lot of respect for. He's talking about the vibe is different this year than it was last year with this team.
The Browns?
The Browns, yes.
So far in the early OTAs and stuff?
Just the vibe just overall is different because Watson's not going to be there. Do you agree with that? Because also, too, the offensive line seems healthier. It does the vibe feel better to you? I want to wait till preseason before I start.
Yeah, I haven't heard much. I'll be honest. Going into this draft, I wasn't a huge Shedeur Sanders fan.
No, neither was I.
And part of it was you could say part of it was the Manziel drama, and I just didn't like the background.
We didn't want any more bullshit with
exactly. I just want
that's just our bottom line. We're all PTSD at quarterback. Yeah,
but I gotta be honest. I've been pleasantly surprised at everything I've heard about him so far. He showed up at some of these schools doing stuff. He's been at the OTAs, getting along, and I saw something. Kay Adams, who used to be with the
Good
NFL.
Morning Football.
Yeah,
Good Morning Football. Yeah, the young lady. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. She had him on, and I just saw clips. She had different clips going out, but one of the thing, he gave such a great answer. They're talking about, you and Dylan Gabriel are trying to be like, is there this competition? He's like, the only people making a thing out of it is people outside of this building. There's nothing on the inside. I love some of the answers. I've been blown away at him so far.
Ethan. Well, true. He's technically still in the building. He's throwing the ball, and everybody went crazy.
Did you see those videos that came out this past week with him, training and stuff, rehabbing? God bless. Nothing against him. I hope he comes
Good for
back.
Him.
I think.
Yeah, you're right, Ethan. But he's not going to be playing, and I'm just saying, the sooner we get past this Watson stuff, the better.
Well, for me, I think when Haslam finally came out this past year and said, "Hey, we took a swing and we missed," that said it all. That finally told me that they're done as an organization. Because last year and the year they kept saying they're going to keep trotting this guy back out. We're like, geez, really?
There was like forcing it. It was just
and I think he finally said, "Yeah, we're done. It's not working out." And I give him credit, and they did. They tried to pick a big swing. It didn't work out. You alienated half the fans here, but.
Well, Ethan, answer this in the comments if you want to. Do you think the vibe's different this year than last year? And positive or negative? I think it's more positive.
I think it's been positive for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
even the reporters talking. When you listen to Grossi or those guys on KNR or the guys on 92, they've kind of and Mary Kay, and they've all kind of echoed the same sentiment.
Ethan thinks the same thing. Okay, yeah, I want to wait because I remember watching us in preseason. We're kind of like, well, it's just preseason,
Mm-hmm.
He said better environment. Yeah, I think so. I think also too, like they're going back to what worked for them on offense versus what Dorsey was trying to do.
Yeah,
and we tried to make it work with Deshaun. It didn't work, but you give them credit when they said, "Okay, this didn't work. We're pivoting. We're going a different direction." I honestly, I think Pickett can be productive in Stefanski's offense. I think he can be. If he protects the ball. If he doesn't, what's that?
No, I was just gonna say. Well, no, in Pittsburgh, he was under center a decent amount in Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, okay. That's their offense. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. You know, that was under Matt Canada when he was there.
Okay.
And it was just. I remember the first offensive play for Pittsburgh should have been a safety. I was right there. That kid, God, Myles Garrett like blew him up. I was like, really? Wow, it was so quick, and you heard it so loud. I was like, oh, we went nuts. We're like, and I'm screaming, it's a safety. What the hell? It's a safety. Yeah, it should have been a safety. That should have been, but
hey, I remember that.
Yeah, we still won the game 13-10. I mean, that was the DTR game when they went like they reined them in and everything was short and but. You know, he did the game-winning drive to score the field goal and kick the winning game.
I've seen a couple interviews with Dillon Gabriel.
Okay.
You know, obviously Shore's getting most of the thing because what did they just do recently where they had some of the rookies at, and they just had a group photo of like about 25, 30 of them. And I think we had 3 of our guys there. Junkins, and both quarterbacks, I think.
Both quarterbacks, yep. Is it EA Sports thing? Was it
something that they were doing? I don't know who gets selected, how they determine who's. Oh,
you heard the interview with someone talking about Pickens. Said he actually had most of his success when he was improvising. So that does. Oh, okay. That's not a Stefanski offense.
No, not at all.
No.
Like I said, my big thing. I don't care if it's Pickett or one of these, you know, the rookies.
The future's not Flacco. We know that.
No. So. I really hope that if nothing else, and we still probably, you know, there's a good chance we won't know, and maybe these guys are a backup. But I just want to know what's going on. So when this next draft comes around and we have these 2 picks, do we have to go all in on a quarterback?
John's gonna get pissed at me because Sherry's not here to keep me in reins. All right, we have to pause for a break for a word from our sponsors right now. How about them sponsors?
Hemisphere Coffee.
Hemisphere Coffee and other
Lou,
places.
where can I get Hemisphere Coffee?
You click on the link in the details of the show. Then they'll be able to order up some good stuff. Yep. Tell them Lou sent you. Lou sent you. Yes. Oh, goodness gracious.
So when does where the veterans, isn't that coming up May or
the next OTAs, let me just see.
They're not until June or
nothing until June. They just did that. They just had OTAs and they're going to do mini camp in June. I'm going to say third week in June.
I wonder if the Browns are going to do again like they did last year. Remember, you had a chance. That was kind of debacle with that too, because I think you had a chance. You know, season ticket holders, we had a chance to get tickets to training camp. I thought you could get like 4 individual things. I think I got, or what did I get last year? I think I got 4. I forget how it worked, but I'm assuming they're going to do something like that again this year, where season ticket holders will get a chance first to get a couple tickets for training camp.
Oh yeah, I think so. I'm thinking.
Actually, you know, did I get 4? You know what? I think I got 4. I think you were allowed 4 tickets. I think I got 1 ticket to 4 different camps.
Okay, I went on their website to look up their. Okay. 10 days organized team activities, no live contact. Oh, hang on. Because I'm looking at the article. Let's see what the dates are on here. All right, April 22nd, voluntary 9-week off season, and phase 2, phase 3. Okay, the OTA off season workout dates are May 27th through 29th.
Okay.
Let me see
what
day.
Did you say May 27th? That's Tuesday, right?
Yep. May 27th through May 29th. These are Browns OTA off season, and June 3rd through the 5th. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mandatory veteran minicamp set for June 10th through the 12th.
Okay, there you go. Actually, You know what? I don't know if you guys have talked about it. There's been more publicity this past week, but I didn't go last year. Ninjoku's doing his his second annual?
June 19th. Mm-hmm.
Are you going to that?
No.
I didn't go last year, and it's sad because it's literally a couple miles from my house. I got a boat back in 2023, so I think that day we're going to be going to our boat. But this year I'd like to try and go. Would you say it was June 19th or something?
June 19th, I think, is it's a Thursday.
Yeah, it's a Thursday this year, which is not only
is it my birthday, but it's also my daughter's birthday. So
really,
yep.
You're not going to go spend it with Browns fans and watching the guys hit a softball?
No, I don't know.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday! I'll be 52 years old.
Oh, that ought to be nice.
Oh yeah. So she'll be 8. Okay. So we're gonna do something. We probably have something else planned that day, but I will tell you, I went to training camp last year, but I had my daughters with me, so it was like really couldn't watch too much.
Yeah,
it's just, and plus the thing I didn't like too, it's like it's training camp. There's all this other bullshit going on, and there's people sitting around eating, and and all these guys are practicing. I don't know. It just didn't feel like it. Just didn't feel like a training camp to me. It felt like a bunch of people stuffing their faces and kids playing with. I don't know. It didn't feel. I don't know. It was okay, but I really wish I don't know. I could have done better things with my time. I guess.
Really limited. What is it? Is there only like eight now open to the public anymore?
I think so. And they're not going to the Greenbrier this year.
Oh, they're not? Well,
that's what I heard. No Greenbrier.
One year they had the success in that great season, and last year was a disaster. So,
I think there was rumblings coming out how bad things were looking before the season started, and a lot of guys weren't able to play in the preseason and get reps. If you remember, with a lot of injuries and stuff, including Watson still recovering from that shoulder.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that shoulder affected him or not, but he wasn't. 2023 Watson was pretty good. He had a 5-1 record. So
right, health wise, who was it? Was it Zach Jackson or somebody last year? I remember one of the local media people talking about some of the camps and just how bad things had looked, and people were all over them. Like, what do you know? And turned out that they were correct.
They were right. Yeah. But was it the joint? It was the joint practices. I think. Was it against the Vikings?
Yep.
So this year, I think the joint practices, if I'm not mistaken, what's that?
Wasn't the Bills, was it?
What, this year?
Yeah.
This year we got joint practices against Carolina and the Eagles. We're going to Carolina, we're going to Philly, and then we have the Rams at home on August 23rd.
Okay.
That's the, and I'm looking forward to the preseason just to watch the rookie quarterbacks play. Yeah. Even though it's not the same. It's not going to be the same, but you want to just see these guys play. I want to see Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders play. I want to see let them play in the preseason. I mean, I don't see Flacco taking that many reps in training camp or playing much in the preseason. I don't.
No, I don't. No, I think you're going to see a lot of the rookies, especially. And you have to. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, you just want to see what you got with. Well, I think the bottom line is Pickett did not get his 5th-year option picked up.
Mm-hmm.
He did not. So this is it. He's got a chance to audition and compete. So if that
there's something they like about him. I mean, we sought out a trade for him. It wasn't like they came to us, hey, would you want him? We wanted to make a trade with them, so they see something in him that they like.
Oh yeah, and rightfully so. He's won 15 games in the NFL.
Yeah.
He's in his 4th year. So, I mean, he was a first-round talent because he was picked in the first round.
Right.
Let me see. What's this? Yeah, they'll be in camp next week. I think the media will be there for one day. Yeah, it'll be fun. They're going to be shorts and helmets. Like when I hear people like, look at these throws. They're in shorts and helmets, guys. They're just don't put too much into it. I remember those days when, Charlie Fry looked great in shorts and helmets. Remember those?
Right. Oh, yeah. Everybody. Well, I mean, let's be honest. Even the rookie thing, it was getting a little ridiculous. I think it was becoming a joke on Twitter. Sanders went 22 of 28 for 450 yards and 5 touchdowns in practice today with his 7-on-7 drills and stuff. I mean, I saw some of the things going up. It's like,
well, were they being facetious? I hope.
I think to a point. Some people were going on about how great the ball didn't hit the ground most of the time and how good they looked. I did hear on a positive, just how accurate both quarterbacks really were. That was a lot of talk, but I mean, just the silly talk. Oh, I calculated him to be 22 out of 25 for 400 and something yards, and he had 5. It's like, come on. It's like you said, they're 7-on-7 drills, and they better look good. You know?
Yeah.
So both guys have. I've heard mixed and whatever. I just I can't wait. I'm hoping. I think Stefanski going back to doing the play call, running his offense.
What worked? Run the ball, play action, bootlegs.
Yeah, but find me my quarterback. That's all I want this year. Do we have him on this roster or not? And
Stefanski did say a lot of positive things about the rookies, and somebody asked about Deion Sanders calling him, and he kind of laughed. He went, "No, he's not bothering us. Yeah. He's got his own team to worry about." It's kind of like what he said because he's coaching Colorado.
Yeah, well, no, that's they're starting up here soon too. No, don't they do their spring practice, spring games and stuff?
Yep, he's got recruiting. He's got things to deal with, and he made the Colorado Buffaloes relevant again, which is good for him. I mean, and I also heard Travis Hunter is tying the knot this week. He's getting married to that crazy lady.
That too. And I heard she's I knew nothing about this, but she's 11 years older. He's like 22 and she's 33 or something like that.
I don't know about that. I knew she used to be a adult entertainer in Atlanta.
Oh, really? Okay.
I heard that, and I also heard that she's they're doing the wedding. There's some videos about like how she was like at the Heisman Trophy ceremony, and she didn't stand up and clap for him, and Deion's trying to get her to stand up, and the way she was after a game, it's just kind of like you get that toxic vibe from her. I'm not going to sit here and slander the lady. I don't know her personally, but
right. I do like that Trav. I didn't know a ton about him. I mean, obviously what you see.
Oh, he's a great athlete. Great athlete.
He's like a good kid just in general.
Yeah.
Good head on his shoulder. He's not big into the social media.
Something happened at a Jaguars mini camp where he ran the wrong route or made a mistake. Everybody was basically saying he was a bust.
Oh, I saw. Yeah, I've seen that one. He was doing routes and, make a cut. He would stumble. They're like, oh, he's struggling. And people are now wondering if this is going to. Yeah, I saw that. It's like, are you guys for real? It's rookie mini camps. He's running routes, and so he's
Mason Graham threw up. So, but I'd be worried if he was doing that in training camp, because when you come into training camp, you're expected to be in shape.
Yeah.
So if he comes in a training camp, he does it, I'd be worried. But now, not really.
No, I mean, most of his kids were doing the rounds of interviews, this and that, and but we'll see. I mean,
I'm kind of interested to see how this defense looks with these new players.
We've got to be better. I like, again, I think we talked about it actually even during the draft. We were surprised. Everybody and their mother was thinking, the Browns' biggest needs, how much we struggled offensively. And yet two of your first 3 picks or whatever were defense,
But then 5 out of the 7 picks were offense. So
yeah. So, I mean, we've got to be a better team. I mean,
last year was bad. Especially offensively. I think if you have a mid-level offense, average offense, and with a good defense, you could win 7 to 9 games. You could.
Yeah.
I'm not predicting anything. I'm not predicting wins and losses on anything specific. Cincinnati's notorious for starting slow.
Yeah.
We've
had their number for some reason with Burrow. Can't explain it, but we've generally he's something like 4-6 or 4-7. He's got a losing record against us, which
he's only won a couple games against us. Yeah, and last year it was just such a mess. It was just such a mess last year. And the thing is, it kind of goes to show to me. This is what I want to close on, and you can say with whatever you want. Was that it kind of goes to show that we're more stable than you realize. Because a lot of people were expecting the owner to pull the plug, meddle, do all this stuff, bring his own guys in, and he basically said before that Pittsburgh game on Thursday night, he said, "Yeah, we're going to bring him back." He goes, he didn't really hesitate. He didn't say anything. He goes, "We have the right people in place."
Yeah.
He goes, "It was nothing." He didn't even hesitate. There was, and even like the national guys, like your Ian Rappaport's. I'm trying to think who else. Schefter, they were saying like they don't know where this is coming from, like where these rumors were. That's coming from the local people, because we've seen it happen so many times. When if there's a bad season like this, after they've been around for a little while, people get fired, people get taken out, and maybe it's a different era, maybe it's a different time. I don't know, but the one I was on the Rapid. What I like to do when I write or I do shows is I like to sit down and talk to fans, and I'm on the Rapid, and I saw that on my phone. That hey, according to this, the Stefanski and Barry are coming back next year. And one guy's like, well, I'd like to have some form of stability. That's what he said. And he said it that way too. And I said, well, this will be their 6th offseason together. Right. Is that a form of stability? I mean, 6.
That's 6. The longest anybody's had since we've been back, isn't it?
Yep. Yep. since actually longest since Ernie Accorsi was our GM back from like 85.
Okay.
until 92. He was our general manager for 7 years. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. You got to go back. You got to go back over 30 years for that. So it's kind of like, you think you got the right people in place. You're going to have ebbs and flows. The growth can be nonlinear. It doesn't mean it's going to be always like this.
Right.
So they made bad moves. I think the reason why was the owner knew, hey, I fucked up.
Yeah.
He meddled and he fucked up. So they're trying to fix it. And you notice too, they had no top 40 picks for like 2 or 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
They got 2 this year. They had 3 this year, 3 top 40 picks this year. And then they got 2 next year. So they're restocking that young talent. So I'm hoping for the best. And the thing is too, I'll be honest. I don't want to say anything too negative about our rival, but they have a big question mark at quarterback, and it's almost June. Pittsburgh, yeah. Baltimore doesn't have a question at quarterback.
Well,
Cincinnati doesn't have a question at quarterback.
Who did Pittsburgh? Oh,
they took Will Howard. They took Will Howard in the 6th round. They have Skylar Thompson.
They brought
Mason Rudolph.
Mason Rudolph came back from Tennessee.
Yeah.
Was he at before? So
Yeah. So it's like they're hoping. I think Aaron Rodgers is coming, and he hasn't committed yet. So
Najee Harris is gone. So they
drafted Caleb Johnson.
Oh yeah, that was a good pick.
They drafted Caleb Johnson, which I liked him out of Iowa too. But
I'm curious to see, when this the Deontay Johnson signing we did.
Yeah.
I mean, back when he was at Pittsburgh, he looked good. He had some good years. Then he, towards the end, things kind of fell apart. And then Carolina,
Pittsburgh got rid of Pickens.
Yeah, that was wow.
That was addition by subtraction by them. Yeah. That guy was a jackass. I'm sorry.
All the talent in the world, but just the other shit. So
it's not worth it.
And he's in Dallas, right? Didn't he go to Dallas?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, let him be Larry Jones' problem.
Right. So, we've got the teams on paper. And the other thing I'm real curious to see is the lineman coach that we brought in from Seattle. He's gone. And did you hear some of the stories after he'd been fired about right off the bat things were ugly and he wasn't even doing most of the coaching? It was one of the assists or something.
Yeah, it was a bad hire.
Yeah. So he's gone. So, I can't wait to see what the new offensive line coach. I mean,
this guy's a Bill Callahan disciple.
Okay,
they got from
I love that. Bill Callahan, in my opinion, I think many others is.
Well, people were saying we fired him when we didn't.
No, he left because his son became a head coach and he had opportunity to go with them. They actually did him a favor, and
they didn't have to let him go. They let him go. Yeah.
No, they did a solid for him. I mean, it's understandable. I was hoping his kid would get fired and maybe come back, but that didn't happen.
I think Tennessee committed to him when now he's got his quarterback. The thing that the trade with Jacksonville was in place for a while now.
Yeah, they said that was a few weeks before the draft. It was all they wanted to make sure. What was it that they wanted to make sure?
Cam Ward was going to Tennessee.
Yep.
Because if Cam Ward didn't go 1, we were taking him.
Yeah.
So
I think this will drive me nuts forever. But we heard, I know you hear a lot of stuff before the draft, but I thought that the Browns were really interested in Milroe. I mean, just connecting a lot of the dots. Tommy Rees, the ties with Alabama. I would love to have known what if, because he went 2 picks before we took Dillon Gabriel.
Yeah, but Dillon Gabriel
was he would have been there.
After Cam Ward, we had Dillon Gabriel on our list. That's what I heard.
That's what they claimed. Yeah, they were that high on him, and because of where they made the trade and they were further back in the 4th round, they didn't think he'd be there when they picked again. So that's why they took him in the 3rd. But I just wonder, would Milroe have been the pick had he been there? And if both of those guys were on the board at the time, was it still Gabriel all this time? I mean, there's things that his biggest knock.
We'll never know. No, we'll never know. Maybe somebody will say something years from now, but
when I die and I go up to heaven, I'm like, God, were the Browns going to take Jalen Milroe if he would have been there? Do you know the answer to that?
Yes.
No, they weren't. They liked Dillon Gabriel. So we'll see. I mean, it's a lot more excitement this year, I think, than last year.
I think the one reporter's like, I'm taller than him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They have the video with him mouthing in the background. A little bummed about Chubb, and the thing I'm hearing about Chubb. One last little side note here is
sure we got time.
He's not signed with anybody. A lot of people are starting to believe. Don't be surprised if he doesn't sign with anybody, and that once the season starts, injuries or whatever, that look for him maybe to sign then. We'll see. I don't know if he'd want to wait that long. I'm sure you've seen a few of the videos of him.
Yeah,
training.
I've seen them. I've seen the videos of him training and everything. I'm gonna miss him.
Yeah,
I'm gonna miss him, and I wish him the very best. He was a Cleveland Brown. He was a great guy.
Dude, it just sucks.
It sucks. But you know what? You got to remember when we moved off of Amari Cooper, it was like the best thing we could have done.
Yeah,
we brought him back, and it was just. We basically we got a 3rd round pick for Amari Cooper, which turned into Dillon Gabriel.
Yep.
Now I don't know if Dillon Gabriel's going to be a franchise guy or a backup. I don't know if Shedeur Sanders is going to be a franchise guy. I don't know. Could Kenny Pickett be a late bloomer, a guy with a second chance? I don't know. I just want to see what happens. Let's see what happens.
I just pulled it up here.
What's that?
Chubb, 3rd all time in Cleveland Browns history.
He's only like 40 yards away from Leroy Kelly.
He's 6,843 yards. Still had that 5.1 per yards per carry. Leroy was second at 7,274, and then
600 yards.
Yeah, and then Jim Brown, of course, over 12,000. But it's just a shame. He 18 to 24, but he basically missed for all intents per two seasons.
Yeah.
With us, and you think of, he's just a kid that, loved Cleveland, wanted to be here, did things right. He didn't talk shit. He didn't get in trouble. Great teammate, a guy you could just, guy you pull for and that you want, your players to be in. I wish it would have turned out better. I don't think he'll be back.
Right. And guys, the past, like since 1999, or we've stunk for over 2 decades. And I always said, how did we get here? Well, we were dealt a bad hand.
Yeah.
It's done. It's over with. Okay. All that's gone. It's past. You can't go back and change it. We got to learn from it and move forward in the future, which is why that new stadium is being built and why the owner didn't pull the plug on these guys. I'm not saying they're the best people. I'm not saying it's going to work out. We're going to win multiple championships. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you wanted that stability. You wanted that continuity. And we that new stadium, I'm telling you, the thing that's going to make people like it or hate it is if we have a winning team. Because when the Indians came to Jacobs Field, we started winning, and people loved it that we were there.
Winning cures all.
Winning cures all. With the new stadium with the Browns, the team sucked. It really wasn't good at all. And they're like, "Oh, this stadium sucks. Nobody likes it. It's not the same." Of course, because the team sucked. If the team was winning, "Oh, this place is great. Everything's awesome." So that's going to be the factor. Have a winning team, and I think the owner should know that to have this team in a position to compete 2029. Not saying we're not going to wait 4 years to win. We're going to still try to win. Don't get me wrong, because he knows that. But hey, so everybody wants to be a negative Nelly and blah blah blah, losing football season. Indians, they went 34 years without making the postseason when Gateway was voted on and passed by a 51-49 margin. So it's a long story, but guys, the past is the past. We can't change it. We can't fix it, and all you can do is learn from it and move forward. And that's what I want to do. I want to start moving forward. And like I said, don't shit on yourself.
Yeah.
Don't. It's a big turnoff to me. It is. Don't, because the national media is going to do it anyway. Let them do it. Let them shit on us. Let them do it. Let them go. You know what we're going to do? Because when we have that team and we do it, we'll shove it up their ass. So that's what I'm going to love to do. And hey, thank you for joining us. I'll be back next Friday.
Hey, one last thing. That Bark in the Park, Eric Top Dog, that's next week, right? Next Saturday?
Next Saturday, the 31st, Sherry and I will be there.
You are? Okay. I'm going to try and make it to that. I just pulled it up. Yeah, Bark in the Park, Mac Expo, WJ Green Lodge.
I'll be there with my wife and daughters. Yep.
$25 a person or Mac donation. So are you going to do a mac and cheese? You bring in something like that?
I don't think we are. I'll ask my wife if she wants to.
Perfect. I'm gonna try and make it to that. That's where I met you in person, and a lot of the other ex people on X, Lana, Heather, Hank, Sherry, of course, and Matt, and some of the other podcasters.
The Thorell from the My Dogs podcast has been a guest on this show. Good guy, great dude. The guys from
what was the other? They had the same name as you, Burning River something.
Burning River Sports Talk. Yeah. And I came over. I said, "Hey, man, sorry." Yeah, they didn't care. I was like, "Hey,
I was waiting to see you guys throw down. That's my show.
It's always kind of funny when I start talking about interviews I've done with Jack Duffin and go over salary cap and numbers. It's like I'm talking calculus in Chinese to people. Their eyes just glass over. It's just because the numbers fascinate me. I like that. Yeah. I like that. But Jack, I plan on having Jack on sometime before training camp. I haven't reached out to him in a while. He's doing great though. Hey, one of the things him and I, we've kind of not necessarily argued or anything, but I've concurred with him on Twitter stuff. And somebody was talking about, we have 5 quarterbacks on the roster, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, Watson's going to be on PUP to start the year. I mean, we don't have 5 quarterbacks. And he liked it and he agreed with me. So it's just like, yeah.
Well, and he even put something, 26 or they added that year, but 26 or 27 he made. I saw him comment something recently.
Yeah, it's June 1st, 2026. They release him. It's going to be spread out. It's going to be soften the cap hit over the long term.
There you go.
It's going to, that's what they're trying to do, and I think they're thinking that way. And I don't know what Watson's going to do. I really don't. I don't know. And I mean, hey, it's one of those things. It happened. It's done. It's done. We've all made mistakes in our lives, people. All of us have.
I think it'll feel good just for Browns fans to be done with talking about Watson and moved on from stuff. I think everybody's done with it. People that didn't want him to begin with, and
if they didn't like the same people that would complain about Stefanski would complain about the new coach if we got a new one. They complain about the new GM if we got a new one. They complain about the new owner if we got a new one. They'll bitch about the new quarterback if we got a new quarterback. Right. It doesn't change with these people. It doesn't. You know who you are out there. It does. It's just, it is what it is. So just they're being who they are. I told John Johnny Cleveland. Okay? I almost called him Suchan. Johnny Cleveland. I said, look, every year in the fall, you have to rake your leaves, right? Do you blame the trees? Trees are doing what they do. They shed leaves in the fall. You got to rake them up and everything. That's it. They're being what they are. These people are being what they are. Don't get angry about it. Browns fans, let's be what we are. Let's be positive. And I'm looking forward to just watching good football this year and figuring out our quarterback. And I feel a lot more positive this year. I feel a lot more positive this year. I've always been positive.
Imagine that.
Yeah, imagine that, me being positive. Steve, thank you for joining us. Steve,
appreciate you having me, my friend.
Steve Hemrich, Hemi Fat 44. Love it, man. Thank you so much.
Hemi Fat 44?
Hemi 44. I didn't say Fat 44. I'm going to keep you on for 5 hours just to piss your wife off.
Right.
No, guys, thank you all for joining us. And like I said, look, it's easy to be negative. I choose not to, because that's just the way I've been my whole life. See the belts I got behind me? I didn't get those by hanging my head and kicking rocks. Be a champion. And don't always remember, whenever the river burns, it burns brown and orange. Have a great night. See you next Friday.